You can absolutely blame your parents and understand that the people that can blame their parents, they don't get to blame their parents because you have to go, go, go. You don't got time to look back because if you look back, everything will fall. You so busy surviving, you're so busy having to make sure everything that you work for stays intact. You have to maintain everything that you have with nobody helping you. You can absolutely blame your parents for you not having a support system, for them not showing up for you in this world. And that's the reason why you got to work not 10 times harder, 100 times harder. Even if you wanted to stop, you couldn't stop. That's why when people say, you're so resilient, you've been through this, you've been through that. Like, if you had the choice, you wouldn't have to be resilient. If you had the choice, you wouldn't have to be courageous. Everything wouldn't have to be like a big decision. Like, when you don't have people to fall back on, you live under a different type of pressure. Even if you wanted to give up, you couldn't give up. A lot of demonic warfare from parents. Everybody cannot minister to people who don't have supportive or loving parents. That's not everybody's experience. Everybody cannot speak to that. A lot of parents are hateful. I'm trying to tell you that a lot of parents are Jezebel spirits, okay? Fathers, mothers, they see the potential in their children and they'll do everything to keep them from reaching that. Things, you got so much emotional baggage that you got to work through that you can't even focus on what the average person your age get to focus on. They set you back emotionally. They do that on purpose. You'll be so sabotaged by all of your parents' attempts to get you to fail. Be the one self-sabotaging. So it's important to understand how your parents set you up to fail, even though if you didn't fail. Like, God is good. Like, you are God's child. God bless a child that has his own. But you got to understand these strongholds and the warfare that was in the carnal, though. This wasn't even spiritual warfare. That was in the carnal, psychological, emotional, spiritual. The attacks on your house and making sure that if you was to lose it all right now, you can't even call nobody. They will turn your siblings against you. I'm telling you, if you got a narcissistic parent, you do not even have siblings, okay? You got people they hate you too, just as much as your mother hates you, just as much as your father hates you. They believe that you are the problem because you are the one that stands up. You are the one that speaks up. You are the one that's gifted. They hate that. They are so envious and jealous. You got to understand that this is how people become the black sheeps. Even when it comes to predators in this world, predators can sense when you don't have a support system. So even your parents not being supportive or protective of you or making sure that you have a safe place to always go, they're opening you up to predators. They're opening you up to even have to be in certain types of relationships, right? A lot of abusive relationships, okay? So you could absolutely blame your parents for that. That was not your fault. It's not even your fault that you have to decide between surviving and resting. Right? Your nervous system is not even regulated the same as somebody else's. There's a different level of hypervigilance and PTSD that you gain from not having that parental safety net. And a lot of parents simply don't support their children because they're jealous. They simply don't support their children because they harmed their children and they was held accountable for it. They simply don't support their children because of envy. I know I said jealousy, but envy. Envy is them seeing everything that you have in you that they didn't have, and to keep you from reaching things that they knew that they didn't reach because they didn't believe in themselves enough to. Because of that envy, they'll leave you out to the wolves. They'll leave you for real for the worst conditions. Your parents are the spiritual warfare that's been against you and that's been attacking you constantly since you were a child. It's like everything the gifted child tries to do, the black sheep child, the scapegoat child tries to do, that parent will come along and sabotage it. Since a child, they'll see that child is gifted in school, but they won't buy them books. They won't take them to the book fairs. They won't celebrate them for getting good grades on their report cards. They'll overly criticize them when they don't overly excel on certain things, right? So now you walking around the world with low self-esteem, anxiety, knowing that you can't trust anybody because the parents that you have or had didn't allow you to do that. Especially if you are a girl or if you have a disability or if you... nobody deserves to be out in this world by themselves. But every dollar you have ever made has come from you and your hands. Parents are absolutely supposed to take responsibility for their children because they like, oh, you can't blame me for this and for that. Yes, you can. And a lot of these parents know better. They have better. You know, they'll have big, nice houses with a lot of rooms, but they don't want their kids to come. A lot of them don't want their daughters to come because they be around certain men, and they think that their daughter gonna take the attention. A lot of mothers and fathers be jealous of their boys too, and they be trying to beat the man out of them, beat them from feeling like they are strong and powerful and capable. You know, I've seen it. They'll try to break men down so they won't have self-esteem, you know, by the time they get to this world. A lot of boys will be born sweet beings and people, but they endure all of this abuse and this abandonment and this neglect. So it's on both sides too. But we know how it is in families against girls and queer boys too as well. Yeah. By the time you make it out into the world, you so tired, you so exhausted from all of the surviving you had to do in your teenhood and your childhood, you know, from all the abuse and all of the lies and all the attacks against your life from your parents, which is so confusing that you don't even want to build relationships with people. Like, you don't got time. You just want to heal. You shouldn't have to spend your life or your early 20s healing from things your parents did. You should have been uplifted by them. You should have had life spoken to you. You should have been invested. You are worth the investment. And God, I love that you've been going and going and going. The journey is so different, so you don't have to be compared or compare your journey to the next person that has support, that has people speaking life into them, that has people making sure that they reach their potential, that's making sure that the classes that they need are taken, even if it's outside of institution. You deserve that.